I'm here with Dean Waddell. So, Dean, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, well, thanks, Kevin. So yeah, my name's Dean Waddell. Daily basis. So I grew up actually in Glendora, and then went to college here. Moved away to Texas as a cop out there for right around 5 years. Unfortunately, or I don't know, fortunately, I was injured and medically retired, and then came back here, and now I work for an insurance brokerage and basically help run a division that deals with all things emergency preparedness. We do a lot of like active shooter type training, de-escalation stuff, threat and physical security assessments.
Well, one reason we wanted to actually chat with you today on today's episode of Homeschool for the Soul is because we're actually in a series this week where we're talking about how to navigate crisis, how to anticipate crisis without actually living into fear. So,
Hmm.
you have a background in law enforcement. You're dealing with all sorts of things on a daily basis in relation to crisis and avoiding crisis. What do you think causes people to seize up, to panic, to actually live into fear in a crisis?
I think a lot of people think that they never thought it was going to happen to them, right? So we see that a lot in like active shooter situations, and I've talked a lot with people that were part of the Vegas incident. This was never going to happen to me. So you kind of extrapolate that and you apply it to like what's going on now. Well, I was never going to lose my job. This was never going to happen to me. And so it's kind of having, I guess, having a plan, right? And if you don't have a plan, get a plan.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, when you have a plan, you have sort of a strategy and there's a kind of a way forward, and it's hard when you're just, stuck in the moment and you really can't get any momentum to try to move forward out of the situation. I was actually reading this past week in the Harvard Business Review. They were talking about a lot of people are managing a crisis right now, rather than actually leading through the crisis, and I thought that was interesting because when I think about management, I think about something that we're doing for the here and now. We're trying to manage something right here and now, but actually that can actually cause us to lose long-term vision, or tends us, for us to have kind of a narrow frame about what's going on. And what do you think about that?
I mean, I guess using kind of the law enforcement perspective, but
Yeah.
takes, like a car accident, a fatality, right? As a cop, or, you show up, um, and what am I doing? I'm managing the situation, right? I got to get it under control. Um, and that's your job right then. So how is that different from leadership? Well, leadership is again kind of through the law enforcement lens on this one, but leadership would be like, okay, well, kind of taking more the 30,000 foot level, right? It's like we've had 10 accidents in the last 6 months at this intersection, and we've had five fatalities. Well, how are we gonna lead and make it better so that doesn't happen anymore? like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what kind of steps, things do we need to do as leaders to just kind of forward thinking? I guess it's probably a bad example, and I don't want to like depress people.
You have a good insight there. I mean, in the leadership world, we would call that sort of balcony time. When we're able to kind of hit the balcony and get a little bit above a situation, we can actually look down, see where we're at, see where other, players
Right.
are, and kind of get a sense of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, managing the situation is important too, but yeah, but leaders. I mean, I guess when you talk about leadership, it's kind of looking ahead. It's like, okay, how do we get better? So
Yeah. Well, what would you say, I mean, the world needs some strong leadership right now, from your perspective, your experience in life. What are some people, what are some things people can do at home, to navigate crisis in their own life with their family, with their kids, where they go to work?
yeah, no, it's a good question. I mean, we got a little guy, and my my soon to be wife tomorrow. She's a teacher, and so she's on Zoom calls, and I'm on Zoom calls, and we got Google Classrooms, and really, I mean, routine's really important. Like waking up, and even though we're at home, like I mean, I've started just like I wake up, I get dressed, like I'm going to work.
Yeah. Step one.
Um, like, you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. So I think routine's important, and then just like one thing at a time. Especially now, because it can become very overwhelming, because you have all these things going on, and it's new territory and all that stuff. But like I think about like SEALs, and I'm not a SEAL, and I have a couple of buddies that are Navy SEALs, but Secret Service and all that stuff. But like, you know, it's like, okay, right now I'm in the push-up position,
Mm.
and then 10 minutes from now I'm gonna be on a Google Classroom call, and then and then 10 minutes from now, from then, I'm going to be on another call, and I'm just like kind of like bite sized, just, and that's for me. I don't know, routine, and just knowing, okay, one thing at a time, focus on that. That's all you can do. Literally, that's all you can do. Just focus on that. Do it the best you can, and it's going to be okay. So I don't know. That's probably,
Yeah. I mean,
not very groundbreaking advice, but
well, but I mean, when people are stuck in the middle of a crisis, or they're looking ahead to a crisis that's on the horizon, it can really just paralyze you. And I think, you're right. Being able to get up out of bed in the morning, to have a routine, to get dressed, to get ready, and to say, I'm going to face today, and then I'm going to face
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
It's one step
Well,
at
when
a
you look
time.
at like any crisis, I mean, if we're going back to like law enforcement, I mean, okay, I show up on scene. It's a mess, right? So all I can do is one thing at a time. That's it. And then I just keep doing, okay, once I do that, I'm going to do something else. And then you solve the problem. You work the problem. And that's what I mean, just work the problem
Yeah. That's
is,
that's huge
yeah.
advice.
So,
What is something that you've been learning, in terms of your faith? I mean, we can think about this from the Christian perspective as well. What's something that maybe you've been growing in terms of your faith during coronavirus that you would like to share?
well, yeah, we've been trying to get married during coronavirus. um,
And you're getting married tomorrow, like quite literally.
yeah, yeah, no, it's, I mean, it's changed like 10 different times. And, um, you know, I guess for my life, I mean, I trust God. There's been times in my life where I don't, I don't know what I'm going to do, God. Um, and he comes through. And so I made a note, just like keep doing the work, just do the work, and God's going to just do the work. So whatever that looks like, just do the work, and he'll come through. And so, and just like tomorrow, I mean, we've had a wedding site for over a year, but we didn't have a wedding site for the last couple of weeks, and we found one, and it's going to work out. It's going to be great. So,
Yeah, yeah,
just keep doing the work, and God will, at least, I mean, in my experience, every time, and it's not always how you think it is, how it's going to happen, but he will provide. Um,
absolutely.
so,
Yeah. Well,
so
when we look back at the Bible, I mean, we look at the Apostle Paul. I mean, the way that he, was constantly being arrested or being stopped or being slowed down or facing problems, and I think that's kind of the reality is that, we live in a tough world. They did then and we do now, and so.
it's the same. Yeah, it's just different. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I
Perseverance
don't know.
with our faith is critical, and I think you brought some good insight, from your experience and what's going on in your life. I think this is super helpful. So,
Cool. Well, it's good to see you, man.
yeah, absolutely. Well, enjoy your wedding tomorrow, and
Yeah.
good luck with that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're excited. It's going to be in the mountains. It's 7,500 feet, I think, and should be fun. Pretty small, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're excited.
Well, blessings to you guys, and I really appreciate your time with us this afternoon. And we look forward to seeing you when you're newly married next time you're around.
Cool. Yeah, sounds
Cool.
good. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks, Kevin. All right.